To introduce Cindy Jennings today. 3.5 years ago, it's hard to believe that long, at the recommendation of Mary Kay, Cindy began her ministry here with us at FPC, and we have been blessed ever since. Born in East Orange, New Jersey, Cindy grew up just north of there in Glen Rock, where she remained through high school before leaving to attend William and Mary, where she majored in French. After finishing her degree, she moved to Richmond to work for a French combustion engineering company, working there for 3 years. When that company failed, she began volunteering at Redeemer Roman Catholic Church in Mechanicsville, where she was soon hired as their musician and served that parish for 30 years. Cindy met her husband, Andy Jennings, at a birthday party. They began performing Irish music together, and soon after that, their relationship blossomed. They were married for 22 years before his early death 7 years ago. Cindy has 2 sons, Kevin, who is 25, Connor, who's 23. Kevin works here in Richmond for Cintas, and Connor is a graduate student at JMU, where he is majoring in public policy. When Cindy is not working here, she can be seen performing Celtic music at Rare Old Times, an Irish pub in the West End, which she formerly owned. And if you want to hear her perform, she's on stage this Saturday night at 8 o'clock. You may remember that I began this introduction by describing her work here as a ministry, and it is. While she is an administrative assistant for music ministry, not only does Cindy perform all of the clerical tasks needed, but she is also a caring and concerned friend to our choir members, our staff, and to me. We work hard, we laugh a lot, and we are blessed to have her serving here with us. I know today we're going to be enlightened, refreshed, and renewed by her presentation, and I am so glad to introduce her and have her come forward. Thank you.
I was going to say thank you to Suzanne for that glowing introduction, which I do, but thank you for that moving introduction as well. I didn't think I was going to nearly be brought to tears before I even spoke. Thank you, Suzanne. It's an honor to work for you. Before I begin speaking, I have something to play for all of you. I'm going to mix up the speaking and the playing, hopefully so that works best. And I think I may even cut what I was going to do shorter because it will be enough. It will be enough. In God's time, it's enough, yes? So feel free to relax, and I'll tell you what I say to my clients. If you fall asleep, that is the biggest compliment you can give me. However, if all of you fall asleep, this will be the shortest presentation in history. Feel some of that going through your body and bringing you to relaxation and peace. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak to you today about Healing Harp music and being a certified music practitioner. It's kind of a new thing, so I'm glad to speak about it. And of course, this is also a story of how God has worked in my life, because Without divine direction, I would not be standing here or doing this at all. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and how I got here. When I turned 40, my husband, Andy, gave me my first harp as a birthday gift. He didn't know what to give me, and we had a friend that coincidentally made Celtic harps in the area and thought that would be a good thing to give. So when I walked into the door of my home at my 40th birthday and saw it was not actually this harp. It's another harp that I still have at home, but it's not, it can only play in one key, which if you know any music at all, that's very limited, so I ended up getting another one when I went into this business. But I did this. And it resonated through my body, brought me to this place of peace. I'm like, oh, I had played guitar and sung since I was 12. I thought, I'm gonna have to learn this instrument. But our children were young, we were both working. I took some lessons, didn't have much time to practice, so I stopped taking lessons. Then the church where I worked, someone donated a harp because they knew I was pursuing playing the harp, and I thought, well, now I have to learn, and it's sitting there every Sunday, I have to play. So I went back and took more lessons and practiced and made progress as slowly as a turtle. So fast forward to my husband's passing, and after a year or two, I thought, I need to step down from this position of music ministry. It is a big job. And I wanted to be present to my children at Christmas and Easter. My husband was the cook in the family. I'm like, I was coming home too exhausted to do more than take them to McDonald's, which actually they didn't mind, but I didn't think that was appropriate. So I started thinking, what should I do next? Asking God for direction. And I thought, I'd like to do something with the harp that would force me to practice. And then I heard about maybe playing for people that were sick. And from 3 different sources, I got information about this specific program called Music for Healing and Transition. There are a lot of programs you can take to learn how to play harp for people that are sick and transitioning, but 3 different, very different sources that none of them knew each other. Like, well, that's a sign. So I applied for the program, I was accepted. They offer classes all over the country. And my choices that year, this was in 2015, were either Baltimore or Wilmington, North Carolina. So for obvious reasons, probably I chose the beach, not driving to Baltimore. They're weekend classes, 5 weekends during the year, separated by 2 months. They wouldn't let you take them any faster. I think it's so you could absorb the information. I read 10 books and reported on 10 books. I was supervised by an advisor this whole time. I did 45 hours of an internship, and that's 45 playing hours, not including the talking, hi, how are you, playing hours. I did half of them at the cancer hospital at Johnston Willis, which was Thomas John's, now it's Sarah Cannon, and half of them at the memory care unit at the Masonic home on 9 Mile Road. And let's see. When I decided to do that, I thought I need to buy this harp. I couldn't take the one from church, well, because it belonged to the church, and also because it was one of those big lever harps. So this one, it only weighs 18 pounds and it fits in the back seat of my Camry. So it's much more, and I have a little trolley thing, it's much more portable than it looks. While I was doing this course of study, I thought, I think I need to find a part-time job. I'm not finding the work as quickly as I thought I might. And so I happened to mention this to my friend, Mary Kay. I was looking for it. She's like, you're looking for a job? I'm like, part-time job. She's like, our music minister is looking for an administrative assistant. And I was so excited because I thought I'd be working part-time on a construction site doing secretarial work or something. So I'm like, a musically connected job. I met Suzanne. You just have to meet her once and you want to work for her. And so I've been here and getting to know you all for the past 3.5 years. Last year I ran into Blair Tuning one day in the hall upstairs, and somehow we ended up talking about my work as a CMP, Certified Music Practitioner, and she thought it was something that you all might like to hear about, so here I am. So what a CMP does, I might read this because I want to say the exactly right, is prepare me to provide healing music and in-the-moment comfort care for people who are sick or in the process of dying and or have memory issues. I was certified to do this with my harp. You can do it with any other portable instrument or with your voice. But I'm focusing on the harp because I think it has unique healing and soothing qualities. If someone was in the hospital, well, we learned about, you don't need to hear about, I think, specifically all the 5. I learned about 5 different stages to play for. If someone is in acute immediate danger of dying, you play one certain thing. If someone is obviously hanging around the hospital or recovering from surgery or waiting for chemo, I can play for chemo infusion units. You can play a wider variety of things. If people are anxious and worried and in a lot of pain, you play another certain type of music. For people that are cognitively impaired with dementia or Alzheimer's, you play music that is familiar to them. And I can tell you that I was excited to receive some funds from the deacons here at First Pres to go play for some of the congregants, and I got to play for my first one this morning, and Mary Kay's given me permission to tell you who it was. Normally I wouldn't be able to say because confidentiality, but I got to play for Jennings. And as many of you know, she's pretty unresponsive, and I went with Sophie Ann White because, is Sophie Ann here? I think she was going to come. Anyway, she was my ambassador, and she goes to see Anne every 2 weeks. And it's just, she of course did not speak, but her breathing changed while I was playing. And you can feel the presence of God. You can feel the presence of God in the room when that happens. I usually play for about 20 minutes. It can go up to an hour. It would depend on the patient, but I played for 20 minutes, and at one point I stopped the music and she looked over. Your music touches those senses that we don't even know. So again, I was reminded of how sacred this work is, and I wanted to stop talking so much, and I'll play you something I played for her. So familiar music. Also, this is a lever harp, so it means I can play in different keys, and it's also a great opportunity to make mistakes if I don't put the right letter. That's like the sharps and the flats on a piano. If I don't put the right one up, we'll hear it. I think it's okay, but you never know. Do you have any questions at this point?
Do you still speak French?
Oui, je parle français.
No. How did you, had you always studied music or the music part?
Oh, right. Well, I've been singing since I was about 12 and playing the guitar for that long too. So I did learn to play the piano from my grandfather. I never played that in public. But I can play the piano. So I always loved music. When I went to college, my father was an accountant. He didn't think I would be able to make a career out of music, and actually neither did I. I didn't think I could, which is pretty funny because that's where. And then I heard you should major in something that you're good at. I was very good in French. I got the French award in high school for my class. It just came naturally to me, and I loved it. And I did live in Montpellier for a year, junior year, from William and Mary. So I'm glad I had at least one little job that was connected to the French. But I always loved I love French, but I loved music more. And the ministry side of the music appeals to me as well. You know, I think those are the gifts that God has given me. So I have, oh yeah, Lisa.
I was going to ask you what some of your favorite Celtic songs are, unless you were going to get to that.
No, that would be fine. You know what, I'll play you one of my favorites. This is She Moved Through the Fear, yes?
How do you get Andre into retirement homes?
Right. So I'm working on that. That's a very good question. I have some brochures. I formed my own company. I kind of have looked for places to hire me, and that didn't seem to be happening. And I have way more cards than this in my backpack. I just forgot to put them out, so feel free to help yourself. So I volunteered at that Masonic home, and I'm networking. I'm currently networking. So I formed my own company now called the Healing Harp. I'm working on a website. I'm talking to people. Now I've played in Westminster, Canterbury once, although they have somebody, and for anybody who knows, I'm not trying to take her job. They were like, we're not looking for, I'm like, no, I'm just coming here to play for 20 minutes. So I'm looking for people and places to play for, and I thought forming my own company will allow me to play for people from here, when the deacons hear about it, from my old church as well. And I'm looking for hospice work too. I can go to anyone's home. I don't think I'd go unless I knew somebody who I knew would recommend that would be safe, because it's a chairside bedside thing. Like, I positioned my harp as close to Anne in her wheelchair as I could, because a friend of mine refers to them as vitamins for the spirit. The vibrations of the music, of live music, is like vitamins for the spirit. Yes?
This is a ridiculously practical question, but I've often wondered with harpists, do you end up with tremendous calluses on your fingers?
That's not a ridiculous question. No, far less than from the guitar. I still play the guitar and I have calluses from that, but no, I don't know. It's the way the fingers hit the strings. There are all kinds of safety things about not playing your harp for too long, but I've played for up to 2 hours at a time. It's not strenuous. Now I have arthritis cream in case it gets a little. Yes, yes.
I hope this isn't inappropriate, but
No.
you mentioned there was a type of music you played for someone who was at that store.
Right. You know what? I'll show you that. I can show you that quickly. And then I know there's some more questions. I'm so happy you have questions, because my worry was that I wasn't going to tell you what I needed. So when a person is in hospice, I can play for whatever their heart rate dictates or whatever they feel like hearing. But when they're at death's door, this is so interesting. You just play, you don't play any whole song. This is my training now. I'm not saying what anybody else does is wrong. But from this program, you don't play anything that will hold the person to the earth longer. They're working to make the transition from this earth to the next place. So you play low notes in the low register, not more than 2 or 3 at a time, and unexpected. So like this. It's hard to learn to play as a musician. It doesn't seem right, but I just keep my left hand in my lap and usually on the in-breath or on the out-breath. either one. So there's lots of space in that process, lots of space in the music too. And you can go on like that for however long.
It's very peaceful.
Good, good, that's the goal. Some of the music is very simple. It's not about being so complicated, it's not about a loud noise. And I'll demonstrate for a person that's in high anxiety or high pain too. Lots of space, not as much as that, but has been proven to calm people down. So. Gives me plenty of time to look at the patient as well. I'm pausing in between the music. Can also improvise. I was thinking, oh, that might be hard to listen to. It's so simple, but you can feel what it does to you. Yes.
Have you played at a memorial service?
Oh, many times.
And what tempo do you take?
Depends on what the person asks for. When I played for people in my internship that have passed away, and I'm forgetting what I was going to say. You said what tempo, and so at her, and they invited me, that family invited me to play at her memorial service. She's a young girl, in her 20s. I played what I played for her the last, I did not play for her in her final moments, but I played for her as she was getting, so I played for her the same piece I played when I was playing for her, which happened to be the Sally Gardens. There's a lot of healing in that Celtic music. And I haven't forgotten your Celtic song, Lisa. Oh, and it's 10 after 1. I'll be glad to answer any other questions afterwards, but I'm going to play, well, I would play this for somebody who is non-acute. And this is She Moves Through the Fair, one of my favorite Celtic ones. And thank you so much. I thank Blair for being a part of God's calling to me. I thank you for being here and listening. It's the next step in my journey. I never dreamed when my husband passed away I would be starting my own company or doing this. I feel connected to him because this kind of was a gift from him. He doesn't know it, but there are roses on the side which blend with the decor on the tables. Thank you very much for that. So I kind of feel like it's him, and I kind of feel he's the one that started me on the harp. I feel connected with him, which I love that. So. All right, I'm going to play the very last thing. My closing thing is, I just read this morning from 2 Corinthians. Therefore, if any person is in Christ, they are a new creature. The old things have passed away. Behold, new things have come. Be careful what you pray for. You never know where God will lead you. Okay, She Moves Through the Fair. That verse.
Thank you.